Hey,
Hello and welcome.
hello,
It's
freedom
George
fighters.
Markoski and my good friend Belinda Flaherty.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Hey, hey,
Another
Belinda.
great
Actually,
night.
hey guys. If you're watching live, please tap in hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, I know as many of you do. If you're too busy, please type in replay. I'm going to open up the chat here so we can talk to everyone. So, guys, we'll be in the
Beautiful.
chat talking to you. Our team's going to be on the chat, so we're going to be there. But also, what I'd like to do is today we're going to talk about mindset, right?
Oh, this is a good one.
This is what it comes down to at the end of the day. This is what we're going to come down to is one is if you believe you can achieve, and if you believe you can't, you can't.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get into that and show you why this is true and how you can use this to your advantage because it's pretty
Absolutely.
important. It's pretty important for you to get the right mindset. So before we get into mindset, what I want to do is I want to talk about identity.
Great.
Right?
Let's deep dive into
And not about identity politics. Hi, Nick. How are you? I can see a little cartoon there, which is great.
and
Um,
Tanya.
when will you be
Hello.
in Melbourne, George? Param said, when will you be in Melbourne? I just got back from Melbourne. Thank
Just
you.
got back from Melbourne. We did a big members meetup.
Oh, look,
Where were
what an
you?
amazing event. What an amazing event. I was in Melbourne I got a conference, business conference with Jessica, our general manager. And then we caught up. I normally stay at Belinda's beautiful penthouse in Port Melbourne. Thank you for your thing. And not only do you have an awesome property overlooking the water, but you're the best host. I got
Thank you,
greeted
George.
with oysters and T-bone, and it was fantastic.
Hollyhawks,
Lobster, everything. So
lobster
thank you so much.
salad, and
But
oysters.
the good part is we caught up the leadership team, on learning how to serve our clients better, and it was exceptional. It was amazing. I'm so grateful to have an amazing team, but not only that, I'm grateful for our members, our clients, but not only that, our audience. You guys watching right now, you guys listening on the podcast or watching the live, you guys rock. I love you guys. You're part of the community. You're part of
There's
the
a
soul.
good, there's a virtual high five.
Yep.
Loving
So
it. Freedom
what I like to
fighters.
do,
We
get
love
your
our freedom fighters on a Thursday night.
get your questions in early. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to get your questions in early and attitude of gratitude. Love that. Get your questions in early about anything to do with mindset and property. And I'll be going through those at the end. But I'm going to talk about identity and how identity works and
Yeah,
how you can use this to become successful.
fantastic.
Yeah, so identity, I'm going to give you an analogy of getting the identity of someone that's fit. Okay. So if you wanted to create the attitude of I'm a fit person, right? You're not just going to go run a marathon. That's too much of a step for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you wanted to become fit, you could start in small batches. One, you could buy a book on fitness or join a Facebook group about fitness, like this one's about property. Two, you go to a gym and actually buy a gym membership and tell your brain, hey, I'm going to do something.
yep.
Three, you can actually go to the gym, right? And what they say is, you don't have to go to the gym and work out. You can actually go to the gym and just sit on the ground. And if you want to, that's all you can do. Because if you go to the gym and you sit on the ground 3 times a week, what's going to happen? You're going to start working out anyway. Because you've got to make it easy for yourself. So
Absolutely.
if you want to invest in property, I suggest you do the same thing. Create that identity because you need your unconscious mind to believe that you are a property investor. How do you do that? Well, step one, you got to start reading books. And there's two great books, The Cash Flow Quadrant, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and there's Freedom Through Property, my book. They're great. And if you want a
That's
free
a good,
copy,
great
type
book.
in, if you want a free copy, guys, type in a hashtag free book, and I'll actually send you a free copy of my book. I'll get you started for free. Reading that book and reading Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad Poor Dad is a good start in programming your brain for success.
Absolutely. And the famous Jim Rohn used to say, he'd stand up and he would say, if people were in a room and he put up a book and said, this book changed my life or helped me become a millionaire, only 5 to 10% of the people would actually read that book. So, guys, in our audience, I'd like to think that you're better than that and you're going to get these books and actually start reading them, especially George's. I mean, he's giving it away for nothing.
And look, you know what? This is wonderful. because we also give the hardcover, the soft book, the actual real life book away just for shipping and handling. And I just got a message here, and I love this. So
Yeah.
read this. Hey George, I received your book in the mail yesterday. Just wanted to say a huge thank you. You rock, Maria.
Yes.
Maria Luke. Thank you so much. I
Congratulations,
love it.
Maria.
Well done, and congratulations on starting your investment journey. And
Absolutely.
the other way that we help people become investors is what we did last week. We did a 5-day test drive last week.
Yeah, we sure did. It was amazing, George. Like the participation, the people, you, Christina, myself, like there was so much gold in those 5 days in regards to it's not just about property, it's about creating financial freedom. And yeah, there was amazing stuff.
Yep, exactly. And I've got a little story to share with everyone, right?
Yep,
Because one of our clients, one of our members, her name's Susan,
yep,
and she's one of my favorites. I really love Susan. She's awesome. And I was talking to her on the phone today because news.com.au and realestate.com, they want to interview her about how well she's done through property,
that's awesome.
right? And so what happened was I thought I'd dig a little bit deeper and ask her about her journey, right?
Yep,
And with this is the interesting thing. So as I was speaking to her, I said, "So Susan, because I know when she started, she was struggling, but I didn't realize she was struggling this much."
yep.
So what happened was Susan was recently divorced with 2 kids, single mother with 2 kids, working at a hospital as a reception. But she didn't have enough hours, and she was only getting around 45,000 a year with that job and a part-time job trying to pay a mortgage.
Wow.
So she was working 7 days a week
Wow.
and struggling with these 2 kids. And she said to herself, "I'm just not going to be able to pay the mortgage."
Yep.
Right? And I bumped into her at a family barbecue, right? Because and anyway, so we're having a chat there, having a little glass of wine, and she's like, "Look, I've seen the stuff you got online, all these videos about helping these people make money out of property." And she goes, "Look, I don't really want to make money out of property. I just want to be able to pay my mortgage, right?"
Absolutely.
That's what she said. And she said, can you help real people like me, or do you only help, all these people you talk about that have made millions of dollars of property? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I said, "Of course we do, right? I would love to help you. I'd be honored to help you, right?" Because she's a lovely lady. So what she did, she came along, had a meeting with us, joined the program, and she at first she admitted to me she didn't even realize the property was going to be real, but she just thought, "Fuck it, I'm going to give it a shot. Fork
Oh,
it,
fork it, George.
fork,
Fork
fork it." I'm not allowed to use the F word. Anyway, and so she joined, and we helped her find the property in the top 200, and we helped with the circle of safety to help her through the whole thing. And what happened was, she calls it the circle of friends, which is great. I love it. It's so cute.
it.
That's
That's
the
so
circle
cool.
of safety we call it. Anyway, so
Circle
what the
friends,
circle of
love
safety is, the lawyers, the building
it.
inspectors, the property
Conveyancers,
managers, the bankers,
insurance,
all that sort of people. So
everyone.
anyway, we get her the property, and she rents it out, and she's doing okay. And what's happened is we put in the rapid mortgage reduction. So what's happening is now she's paying less tax. She's done an ITWV. She's getting more money in her pay packet. All her money is going into her offset account on her
Offset
family
account.
home,
Perfect.
because that
Perfect.
was the bad debt. The good debt's investment properties. We want to keep that as big as possible, right?
Yep.
So what we did is, even though she had some money, we wanted to just use her equity because she had equity. She didn't have a
Yep.
lot of money anyway. And I said, "Let's save up the money, but put it on your home loan, at home, not at the investment property." And pretty soon, she came to paying off her mortgage because she started making a lot more money, right? Also, she wasn't working 7 days a week anymore, only 5 days a week. And now her property in Strathpine has averaged more than her yearly wage every year since she's had it.
Wow, that's so good.
So
That's
she
fantastic.
replaced her income through property. Not even
Wow.
wanting to do that. She just wanted to, you know, fix a mortgage. And we're talking about her retirement, and looking at the numbers, she's going to retire with $3 million.
That's fantastic. What an absolute game changer.
Not only that, I mean,
I mean,
imagine, on 45 grand a year, retiring with 3 million. And she rang me. She rang me after she talked to a financial planner, and she goes, George, I'm not happy with you. I go, why? She goes, you know that I can't go on the pension anymore. I've got too much money.
Ah,
And I,
tough gig, right? First world problem.
and I said, look, the good news is all that extra money you got out of me helping you, you can actually just blow it and you'll go on the pension straight away. But,
Absolutely.
but you can use it. So,
But isn't
but
it isn't it funny though that she started with the mindset of going, "Look, I don't want to be rich. I just want to cover my bills." But just naturally by following and doing the right steps, she's actually got to a stage where she's got all this abundance now.
yes. And now her identity is I'm a property investor. And
Yes.
now she's at work telling people, and a lot of people have come from her because she's told a story, and people go, "Wow, if you can do it, we can do it."
We can do it.
And
Hello.
lots of her friends and family have come and joined our program and killed it. She was just telling me about one guy she introduced me. She goes, George, I introduced a big fish for you. Some guy who's bought 5 properties in the last year on our program.
Ha!
Wow. So I said, look, I'd love to meet him at the November evening event because that'd be great.
Yeah.
Someone just asked if you're my wife.
No.
Okay, so I'm on YouTube. So do you want to go through any questions, Belinda? Let's
There's a
go through the
couple.
questions.
Shall I go through? I can't bring them
Yeah,
up on my end.
doesn't matter. Just go through
Um,
them.
what would you say to people who don't have the time to learn, read, or implement?
Okay, this is the deal. You got every single person's got 24 hours in a day, right? If I drove to your house and had a gun and put a gun to your head and said, "Read my book, Freedom for Property," I'm sure you'd find the time. Sorry
Yeah,
to say it that way, right? So at the end of the day, you've got to look at what your priorities are and work it out.
yeah,
Um, when I first started working, I had that problem too, right? I didn't have the time to learn and read or implement, and I needed to do that. So what I did is I started listening to audio cassettes. And these days, you've got audio books even easier. I had to buy the physical cassette and stick it in my car. And funny enough, I was an insurance agent, and I used to drive around this old Camira, and I had this box of tapes that were motivational and everything else like that. And what happened was, someone broke into my car and stole my tapes. And I thought, this is bad news. Now we're going to motivate a criminal. You know,
yeah,
right?
100%.
But you
Absolutely.
got it. You know, at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat. You need to find the time.
Absolutely. We've got the same amount of time. Now, someone's just written, what does it look like having 10 properties on 10 interest loans?
Yes.
It's hard
Look,
for me to grasp.
yeah, I know it's hard to grasp because you don't understand the power of compounding.
Yep,
Because to get 10 properties is going to take you 5 to 10 years, and in that time you got growth, and therefore you're making money, and it's really good. The interest is insignificant. That's the whole point. So don't look at it from now, because if you look now at 10 properties and interest, it's
it-
daunting. It's
it's
like, oh my God.
overwhelming. Oh my
Uh,
God.
It is. But think about it. If you're a property millionaire of 10 properties making lots of money, then it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yep,
I've got probably, I don't know how many mortgages I've got, but in the
lost count.
2030, I don't know, I've got $45 million worth of property, right? And a lot of that is owned by the bank. So you can imagine I pay a lot of interest. But the thing is, every week I get 20 or 30 grand dropping in my account,
Yep.
which is more than enough. So the little bit of interest I pay, who cares when you're getting 30 grand in your account? That's what you look at, the income.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Another question, and hopefully that answers your question. But I think what we need to realize is you've got to go one step at a time. And
Yep.
that's what George is saying. You're looking at the big picture too soon. It's great to have the big vision, but you've got to go one step at a time. And
Yes.
and that's pretty much it. Someone's just written in saying, what would you say to a property investor who is waiting for a property where the land and the build is a year away, but for the property that's in a low price bracket that's affordable, should they do it or should they make more time to save up more money and buy a property in a higher price bracket?
That's a wonderful question. I really appreciate it. Thank you for asking that question because that is a very deep thought question and very important. And let me explain the principles and how you'd look at this. One thing I don't want to do I don't want to wait to get into the property market because the property market is moving. So, for example, that property in the low price bracket, it's low price bracket at the moment. It won't be in a year's time,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
you're waiting for a property a year away. At least you've got a year of growth without having to pay for it. Depends if it's a
Depends
house
where
on
it is
land or
though.
townhouse. Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
so if you buy, what I love about townhouses, if the townhouse is a year away, you can just pay a small deposit and you don't have to pay anything until the townhouse is finished. But with a
Yeah,
house and land, you've got to pay progress, you've got to pay for the thing and keep going. So if the property is in the top 200 suburbs, I would say do it. I
yeah,
prefer finding something that's quicker. I
yep.
really do. I like quicker the better because you want to get into the market as quick as possible and then wait. But don't let perfection stop your progress
Yep.
because what people say is, okay, what I want to do is get this sort of money, this sort of property. I want it to go up in value. I want it to get a good return. I want it to be ready. I want it to be brand new. I want to get depreciation. I want it to be in an up and coming area. And you've got all these criteria. You're never going to get the perfect property. And
Yep.
becoming a property investor is not about finding the perfect property because that doesn't exist. I see people out there who want to find the perfect property. They don't actually invest. They just talk about it. They don't actually do anything because they look at every property and go, oh, it's not right because of this. And they look at another one, not right because of that. The people that make money at a property, they know it's not going to be perfect. They just buy it anyway. But it has to have the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are you want it to be a good chance of doubling in the next 7 or 10 years. And you want to be able to afford the weekly payments. So you want to get probably 5.5, 6%,
Yep.
right? And that's the return you want to get. So therefore, it doesn't hurt your pocket too much. In today's interest rates, it will be about $100 a week. Now, interest rates next year, what does George $45 million property? What does admin look like that? I've got a team of admin people looking after my company and my properties and everything
That's
else.
right. So realistically, when you're an investor, you have to have the right circle of safety. And it doesn't matter whether you've got one property, five, 10, you need the right people around you.
Yeah, but the
And
first the first 10 properties, you can get a property manager and someone part time to help you. But when you've got $45 million of property, you need someone full time.
yeah,
But you're making the money for it anyway. And these days, you can get a VA from overseas. It's very easy. That sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
but that's next level.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And look, I want people thinking their first 5 or 10 because that's where the big changes happen. And look at Susan; she only got one, but she's going to retire on $3 million with the way we've structured it and the growth between her house and the other house. She's got two houses that are growing in the market,
Absolutely.
plus her super, and plus all the tax savings because we've got $80,000 worth of tax savings. Which now, instead of giving it to the government, she's getting those tax savings and putting it into a mortgage and paying it off.
Absolutely. What a great scenario.
Yeah, and imagine replace your income through property of just one property,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, to get to earn 40, 50 grand a year, I don't know how much she makes from now. She probably makes more money now too because she's gone up a level. But I don't know how much she makes out of this property, but I'd imagine it's around that because that's what our usual members make 40, 50, 60 grand per year.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so that's pretty astonishing because really most people need to work full time to earn 50, 60 grand.
Absolutely. Now we've got time for one more question and we'll wrap it up.
That's
What's
right.
the
We've
best
got to go
type
to our private group.
Absolutely, we go off to our private group. What's the best type of properties to invest in? And do the houses outperform townhouses?
Yes, houses don't outperform townhouses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. We've already said that. There's a lot of 1 to 3 year old homes coming on the market and a lot of tenants in place from people with mortgage stress.
Yeah.
It's, we agree with that. I don't know what the
Yeah,
question
there
is.
is, there is. But the thing is, I mean, I'm not looking for people with mortgage stress. I just think that's a very predatory way of making money. It's just not my style, right?
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
you know, I I'd rather help them than get a bargain off them and stuff like that.
And I mean, speaking of helping them, you did a free workshop last week. I mean, 5 days, you put your time and energy to sit down and talk to people who are willing to listen about how to get started in property.
Yes.
And I think the biggest takeaway we got was the fact that it's not just a one step process to just go out and buy a property. There's so many steps involved.
Yep.
And, things like doing your due diligence, there's a lot of steps involved with that as well. And obviously having the right people around you, whether
Yes.
that's, whether that's choosing a company like us or people that that are successful
Well,
in doing it.
quickly,
It's
what I'd
really
like to say before we finish is next week we're running our webinar, and I'm going to be running our webinar, The Great Real Estate Bounce Back of 2023.
oof, I
Right?
love the
I'm
title.
going to be,
That
I'm
sounds
going to be showing people why property is bouncing back. I'm going to give you all the evidence, piles of evidence. But not only that, I'm going to show you why interest rate rises can't even stop it from happening. Right?
absolutely.
So that's all the questions we can answer for tonight.
That's
Thank
it.
you everyone for coming
Absolutely.
along. Look, if you haven't had your question answered, get in early next session. See us next Thursday, same
Come
bat
on.
time, same
Same
bat
back
channel. I'm
channel.
going to say that we appreciate you all. Lots of love,
Grateful.
George and Belinda.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Have a great week, guys.